Miss Destiny's become my new friend over the last few years. Aren't we good friends?
Yes.
So she's big friends with Mr. Dale back there. Wave to Mr. Say hello, Mr. Dale.
Hello.
She danced for Mr. Dale over at my house one day, didn't you, sweetie?
Yeah.
Her and Mr. Dale big friends. I'm gonna let your mama have the microphone, okay? And we're gonna go back here and sit, okay?
Pastor Stephen asked me to share a little bit about
Right here by Miss Melissa.
little background about Destiny. Some of you may not know, looking at her, looks like a normal little 8-year-old. Well, she doesn't look 8, but she is actually 8. But many of you may not know a little bit of her history background. We call her our little miracle because she is our little miracle. God gave her special to our family. We adopted her. We got her when she was actually 5 months old. She had a pretty rough start to life, had a pretty grim diagnosis, was born with what they call gastroschisis, where her intestines was on the outside of her body. Most newborns are born with about 250 centimeters of small bowel, and because hers was outside, most of it had died, so she was left with only 17 centimeters. So they salvaged what little she had and sewed her up, and she was basically on IV nutrition the first 3 years of life. I think they got a picture. Yeah. What you see on that table there, everything on the table is basically medication and nutrition. She had a central line in her chest, and she got everything through that IV for the first 3 years of life, but everything on that table is just what was required for one day, to make it through one day of life. So I had to do that for every day. That is just one day's worth to keep her alive, basically. And for the first 3 years, let me back up a little bit. Before, when we got the call, when she was 5 months old, we got the call. Socially, was pretty rough. I'm trying to be discreet here since she's here. But socially, was not a good situation. And then we're needing a permanent placement for her. And so we prayed about it, and we felt that this is what God wanted for our family. And so we were very happy and to take this on. It was not an easy road, we'll say that. But we feel just as blessed. People say, she's so fortunate and so blessed to have y'all, but we feel actually just as blessed to have her because she's been such a blessing to our family. But anyway, we got the call at 5 months old. When she's 5 months old, she only weighed 8 pounds and 2 ounces and was still wearing preemie clothes at 5 months old. Her eyes were yellow. She was so jaundiced from the liver damage what was keeping her alive was actually killing her liver. So it was kind of supposed to keeping her alive was actually damaging. But they said without a transplant, a small bowel transplant, maximum life expectancy is 2 years. So it was very grim. We knew going into it that she may not be with us for very long. Lawson and Taylor were pretty young at the time. So we talked to them, and they knew that, as long as, even if we only had her for a few months, we were going to love her, and as long as we had her. And everybody was on board, and we were going to do this. So we had everybody in church, everybody started praying. We believed in the power of prayer, and we knew that there was a reason. Her name was Destiny. That's the one part of her name that we kept the same, because we felt like God had a destiny for her life. So everybody prayed, and we started believing, and we had a process we had to go through because she couldn't be listed on the transplant list until she was actually adopted, because in foster care, you can't be on the transplant list. They have to know who the permanent caregiver is going to be. So they sped the process up. She legally became a Wells June 16th of 2009. And once that happened, she was listed as a status 1 on the transplant list for a small bowel transplant. And at that time, she was about 15 months old, and was, her health had declined. She was being kept alive with all of these IVs and medications, and so we kept praying and believing, and slowly she started doing better. And we were on the list for a little over 2 years waiting on a transplant, And I will say we are now off the list officially and have been off for over 3 years. And she still has her feeding tube, but she only gets medications through it, takes everything by mouth, and is doing great. She is now 8 years old. She has proven the doctors wrong. God has other plans for her. And she loves to sing. I will tell you this because I think it's really sweet. I made this video for her when she was 2.5 years old to show her progress from where she, in 2.5 years, where she has come. And the song that Carrie Jobe does, Healer, she's always called it her song. And she asked me the other day, Mommy, that's my song. Did Carrie Jobe write that song for me? And I said, no. She goes, oh, but I thought she wrote that song for me. And I said, well, baby, no, but I will tell you that they wrote that song for people like you so that they could use that song to show how God has healed them and touched them and how far He's brought them so that they could share with other people to show God's healing power. And so I think she gets it because I heard her talking to her daddy the other night. Daddy, you know what? I wasn't supposed to live, but God healed me, and guess what? I'm alive.
Amen.
So I heard her say that. I think she gets it. So this is her song, and she wants to sing her song for you guys. And so you can watch the video and see how far she's come, and she wants to sing that for you this morning.
All right. Amen.
I'm ready. Hello, everybody. And I'm Bethany, and I want to sing. You are my every moment. You calm my raging sea. You are within my heart. You are my
Praise the Lord.
Sorry, I should have told you one and you need tissues.
What a miracle. Praise God. God is a miracle working God, isn't he? Praise the Lord.